Lord have mercy. Horus then made a huge mistake. A huge mistake. He didn't mean to, but he made a big mistake. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. Listen, this is my review for Beauty in Black Season 2, Episode 2. Horus that made a huge mistake. He didn't know, though. He honestly did not know, because he would never have done this. But again, just doing business, don't have all the information, and mistakes happen. Because there's always 9 different people moving 9 different directions. But we're going to get to it. Vney, though. We start off with Vney. Baby, when I tell you they was wearing me out with Vney, because Vney is caught between a rock and a hard place. Because you can see it, well, we seen it in this scene, that Vney is just as vicious as them. Like when I seen his anger turn on, I said, oh, you all better be watching out for Vney, because Vney ain't to be played with. But you know, quiet people. And he really is trying to guard his career. But when I tell you they pissed Vney off, okay, so we start off, you got Charles playing this little game, and he has this little exchange back and forth with Roy. Roy ends up leaving, and he's cowering to Roy, which was getting on my nerves. But again, that was about protecting his career. He ends up saying to Charles, did you do this? Did you text him? Did you set me up? So I don't know what it was that tipped him off, because he never would do that before. Like, I don't know what made him think that Charles would actually set him up. I just always seen him move like a puppy dog with Charles, but he surely thought, you know, he was questioning whether or not he had been set up, and he was hot. He was hot, and you know, Charles is so flippant. He just went on and did what he was doing. I was going to say, Charles, he's going to whoop your ass, and you don't even know it. He's going to beat on your ass, you know. And then he goes to leave out, and his tire is flat, and he's like, I bet that mother. And here come Roy from behind the car. He did it. And they end up having this exchange back and forth. And he basically lets him know, I got you. Now I'm going to use you as leverage. You're going to get that bitch about my daddy's house. And if you can't, I'm going to mess you up. And then he ended up going into this whole humiliation ritual and making him say, I'm your bitch. And when I tell you, that Vney was so mad, he was spitting nails. He was ready to choke the life up out of Roy. And Roy saw it. He gonna say, get out of my face. I mean, it was horrible. It was a terrible, terrible, it was hard to watch. And he's so much bigger than Roy, and he's taller than Roy, and he just was talking to him so bad, and and making him say, I'm your bitch. And then he had to just, and then some of the things he was saying to him, when he told him, back up, smell thick on your breath. He was ready to literally wring his neck. I was like, nah, I like that Vney. All that cowering and carrying out, not like that. I like that Vney, honey, whose nose was flared out. He was ready to put his hands all the way around Roy's neck. Now that Vney I like. I said, yeah. Then it was Roy that had Calvin removed from driving old girl. You know, she wasn't feeling that. So he sends this new driver. Jules sends this other driver and ends up telling that driver to follow Mallerie. A hot mess. We're going to get to that in a minute. But he goes and he's following her, not doing, and he's a cop. The other guy was a cop, but he didn't do real well because she busted him following her and acted a fool. Anyway, past that, y'all remember how Horus calls Harold. He come down to the hospital. He says, so you and my brother been laundering money through that club for Lachlan. So you just been double crossing me, keeping secrets and carrying on. And that man is a liar. That Harold, I can't get with him. He just lies and just gets caught in the lies. And all it does is piss Horus off more and more. And he was doing that. And he said, call, you work with Lachlan, call him. So he had him call. He calls, he gets the son-in-law. Remember, Lachlan was the one found in the car. And he's married to Lachlan's daughter. So the daughter, that's a whole other thing. But anyway, he called him. They going back and forth a little bit. And he said, listen, my new wife, she didn't know whose car she had stolen. That was all a mistake. She made a mistake. You need to make that go away. And he's like, okay, you stay out of my way, I'll stay out of your way. He said, but my wife is going to want somebody for it. It's just not going to just go away like that. She wants somebody for it. Harold, he said, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But she's off limits. Kimmy's off limits. It's cool. Harold sits up there and he ended up saying, they got somebody that's in jail. It's this thug that actually was found with the car that's in jail. That's Angel. That's Angel. So where they got this thug, child's a pretty boy. But anyway, it's Angel. Horus has no idea that it's Angel because nobody knows where Angel is except for Alex, and Jules actually knows where Angel is. So here it is. It's Angel. Horus said, get him out of jail. Whoever this supposed thug is, get him out of jail and basically turn him over. Turn him over to Lachlan and let them do what they do to him. So Harold's like, yeah, I got it. I'll take care of it. So basically giving up a soul for a soul, but just don't know that you actually gave up Angel. I said, Lord have mercy. So he gave up Angel, had no idea. And I'm going to tell y'all, literally, I had to roll it back because the first time I watched, I didn't catch it. I was like, what is the connection to who he gave up? And then, well, wait a minute, something else is going on. I had to roll it back and watch that scene again. And I'm like, oh God, it's Angel. Okay. So that's what it was. He was giving up the unknown person, but the unknown person turned out to be Angel. Anyway, then he told that Harold, because Harold, all in this conversation, Harold told him like 3 lies and then came clean. He's like, tell me the truth, you bastard. He come clean on it. And he told Harold, he said, you know what, go take care of this. He said, but you know what, Harold, your days are numbered. I said, good for him, because he's just a vicious old liar and he a punk. So I was like, that'll be good for him. He's on my nerves. Move right along. Mallerie then met up with Felicia, and Felicia's got it behind. She didn't end up giving her $3,000. She telling the business. Mallory's getting a full picture. Mallory's getting closer and closer to what this full picture is. She also knows that Horus then been down to the club, and that's how he knows Kimmy and Angel and whoever else. And she still doesn't have the full picture, but she's getting closer and closer and closer to the picture. And then she found out about Jules and all of that. That's when she comes out and she finds out about the guy following her, rolls up to the car, tell him, give me the phone. Jules is on there. She cussed Jules out. She's like, you got him following me. He ain't doing such a good job. He's a gump. This, that, and the other. Jules and got mad. Jules tells the little guy, he said, you a cop, right? He said, yeah. He said, blow your head off. Blow your head off. I said, dang, okay. That Jules is a mess. So Jules then went on down there to talk to Angel. Baby, they had this old nasty exchange. Jules go down there. He's trying to force Angel to telling him everything he knows about Horus, Kimmy, and what's going on, this, that, thing, and the other. Angel ain't going. Because Angel know at the end of the day, he think he got Horus in his pocket, so he ain't really too much worried. And he don't know everything that went on because he's been in jail. Jules goes and makes some threats about Jules's daughter if you don't talk, because he was doing good at first. We told him you don't talk. He said, first of all, he said, I want my phone call. I want my phone call so they could call Horus to get him out of there. And I want my lawyer. I want a lawyer. He just ain't playing that scare tactic game that Jules usually plays. And Jules says, that's an American thing. Are you even American? So then he starts talking. He says, it's time. He said, you came here when you was 4 years old and you ain't American. He said, I think it's time for you to go right on back to the DR. And Angel was like, you know what? Whatever. Then he tells him, and you know what? And he said, you ain't gonna talk still? He's like, I ain't got nothing to say. Get me a lawyer and I want my phone call. He gonna flash a picture of his daughter, his baby girl, on there. And then he flashed one of his son. Said, yeah, I could say so and so and so a person, which is the actual cop that is doing all this communicating back and forth with Alex. Okay, back at the house. And he said, he don't know no Spanish. The only thing he knows is fuck you up and, pain and destruction and death. That's all he knows. He don't know no Spanish. And he says, maybe you could have a little chat with your daughter. She's just a baby. I said, you know what? That ain't cute. That's not cute. Then he says, and maybe you could take your son out and take him for a swim. I said, really? So you want to threaten to have the daughter messed up, the baby girl messed up, and had the little boy drown? I was like, that's cold. Baby, that angel popped back up and was like, Tiffany, isn't that your daughter's name? He was like, you used to be having me shook and all that. He was like, mm-mm. He said, you talking about my daughter means a lot to me. How much does Tiffany mean to you? He said, see, you don't want to play with me either, Jules. Hey, that Jules' face dropped down. I said, uh-huh. And then Jules calls for the cop and tells him, you know what? He ain't talking. Go on and see his kids and send me video. And I'm like, Angel. And so Angel, he ain't hold out. He's like, wait a minute, Jules, hold on, wait a minute. Wait. He said, no, threaten my daughter? He said, oh, you had your chance. I said, I ain't got a lot of nerve. You threatened his daughter first. He threatened your daughter back, and you acted like, how dare he? I was like, you are really a mess. You are really a mess. A whole mess. Kimmy and them is out. They done seen everything at the house, and they done met James, the butler, and all of that, and found out that she got a black card, and she has a debit card, and all of these things. And Alex takes them out shopping and all that. So naturally, there's a stylist that went and pulled things for them off the rack and all that. They end up going to the bank because they just Rain running everything. Kimmy is still kind of like, I don't believe any of this. I'm not getting myself caught up in it. Rain is doing this whole thing of like, get what we can. We're going to get some stuff to put to the side. And I'm like, chill. That's so tacky. Just chill. But she goes to the bank. She opens up an account for Sylvie and also an account for Rain with $500,000 in each, because they checked the balances. She got $1.6 million in the checking account and $1.7 million in the savings account. And she has access to all of it. That doggone Rain talking about, well, we'll take it all in 10s and 20s. I was like, girl, you as ghetto as hell. Go sit down. She's like, no, we're not. But she said, I want to open 2 accounts and put $500,000 in each one of the accounts. So she's like, you did that for me, Kimmy. Thank you so much. This, that, and the other. Now, I thought she was going to flip on her and tell her, like, girl, you got like over $1 million. Girl, you can give me more of that show. But you know how people are, honey. So she literally has almost $3 million. She didn't gave them $1 million. I was like, okay, well, good. They ain't be too raggedy. That was a nice little piece of change she didn't set them up with. So I was like, all right. Alex then ends up telling her, because they had a little conversation before they left out to go shopping, and he basically confided in her that like I ain't really with none of this. There's too much going on. All of us are really trying to figure out what's going on, but I want to be up out of this. That's like, I just want to be up out of it. And one day you'll get the chance to actually trust me, whatever. She like, yeah, okay, whatever. Alex slide in that room and tells her, listen, Angel is in jail. Kimmy was like, okay, get out. Get out of here. She calls Horus. She's like, Horus. She's like, I got it. She's like, Angel is in jail. And he's like, what? And she said, that car that I stole and all of that, Angel got found with the car. So it clicks to Horus right away. Oh my God, that's the gangster that was in jail that they're talking about. It was Angel. And he's like, I just gave the okay for him to be killed. Oh my gosh. He's like, I gotta go. So he hung up the phone real fast with her. And when we click back over, we see Angel being released. And then we see him and the old nasty piece of cop will say on the move. And that was the whole thing. They said to turn him on over to the Lachlan dude. And I was like, okay, we see Angel getting this little stuff and he go down, he get to the bus stop, baby, they pull up on him and gunned him down at the bus stop. But here's the thing. And Tyler, I wish you hadn't done this. But they gunned him down. Angel ain't dead, y'all. It's that person. There's this real goofy guy that like walked up in front of Angel partially. And I think he caught all the bullets for Angel because they was like, I said, well, if they come to get Angel, they just literally did a drive-by and they just gunned him down. But you could hear Angel breathing, but it was like that labored breathing. So I don't believe that Angel is actually dead. I believe that that person that walked in front of him with the cell phone, he was on his cell phone, not paying attention. I believe he caught most of the bullets. I believe that Angel actually is still alive, but he's injured. And I believe Angel will end up right down at that same hospital with Horus. So after that, he'll be safe after that. But yeah, just moving about and not having all the information, he made a huge mistake and got his own little boyfriend, Cat, on the bus stop. I said, Lord have mercy. Oh, we are in this. There's 8 episodes to this portion. I guess this is probably like part 1 of season 2. There's 8 episodes. We got 2. I got to go. I gotta go because I gotta go watch episode 3. So I'll see y'all shortly. Bye. Done shot Angel, but Angel ain't dead, y'all. He's over there breathing. I wish they hadn't did that. I wish they'd just let us just. But okay, do what you do, Tyler. Over there breathing.